Welcome back to the channel for my first proper review of 2022. My first in quite a while, if we're honest. And for once, the Englandhamshire weather is on our side. All hail the weather of Great Englandhamshire. And it's a perfect metaphor for this review because we've got one hell of an album to kick us off into the new year. Spoiler warning? Fuck it, this album is awesome and you need to be told. Yeah. Okay, so Happy New Year all, although we're quite a bit into it already. For my first real review of the year, WILDERUN. I've forgotten the name of the album now. Epigone. Good start. Before we go any further, I just wanted to say if you could drop a like on this video, it really does help to boost the videos and send a message to YouTube. Of course, if you don't like the video, then, you know, that's your prerogative. I mean, if you want to be a shithead, that's fine. Let's get on with the review. So, WILDERUN is a Boston-based band, and they were formed in 2012. Musically speaking, I'm speaking musically now, they have been described as progressive folk metal, because that describes what they do. And this album is the follow-up to their 2019 effort, Veil of Imagination. The band itself consists of Daniel Mueller. Okay, so some of you might notice that the sound is a bit off now. That's because I've just spent 40 minutes filming this review and realised that pretty much right from the very off, the lavalier mic battery died. So I've spent 40 minutes talking to a camera with no fucking sound. Luckily I had my other microphone with me, so I'm just going to pick up from here and do it all again. Fun. I think I was just getting to introduce the band, which is Daniel Mueller on bass, synths and folk, I presume that's folk instruments, John Tichy on drums, Evan Anderson Berry on vocals and guitars, and Wayne Ingram, orchestrations, guitars and folk, again instruments I presume, as there's a lot of folk instruments on this album. It's a folk progressive metal thing. Epigone is the band's first album to be released via Century Media Records, and according to bassist composer Dan Mueller, it was the hardest record they've ever had to make due to all the sheer amount of shit that's gone on in the last 2 years. That last bit was me, not Dan. I haven't had a chance to check out any of their earlier albums at this point. This album only got recommended to me late yesterday, and I was pretty much up till 3 in the morning just listening to it on repeat, and I just felt compelled to do a review for this one because this album is outstanding. Spoiler warning. We've already done that joke, mate. I see. To the songs! That was The Sky. Truly cannot believe I just spent 40 minutes talking to myself. The first song on the album is Exhaler, and this is a very apt title indeed. This gentle acoustic intro comes across like a breath of fresh air, as vocalist Evan Anderson Berry softly sings over soothing chords. Now I got a real Will-o'-the-Wisp vibe from this one, you know, Opeth's Sorceress album. The song builds with the addition of more and more traditional instruments and brings us into the truly epic 14-minute Woolgatherer. This song starts out in much the same vein as the opener, but builds into something truly epic over its 14-minute duration. I feel like I've said 14 minutes and epic a few too many times. Well, you have now. Around 2 minutes in, we get the inclusion of heavier, though shimmery, guitars, and later still we get blast beats and death growls. A glorious meld of melody and aggression that brings to mind Devin Townsend at his heaviest, possibly. I'm not going to spoil this song anymore for you with too much description. I highly recommend that you go and check this one out yourself. This is an astonishing song. Epic. 14 minutes. Epic song. Almost as much as 40 minutes talking to a camera with no goddamn microphone. Next up we have Passenger, another epic song coming in at just under 10 minutes. And this one starts out with heavy guitars and slamming percussion right from the off. John Teach's drumming sounds truly phenomenal on this track, and he utilises double bass very well. This one brings to mind heavier Dream Theater, Ghost Reveries era Opeth, as well as Deconstruction era Devin Townsend. But I don't want this to come across like I'm trying to say that they sound like these bands, because they don't. They definitely have their own thing going. But, you know, there was reminiscences there. I think it's fair to say that this band has a Between the Buried and Me level of musical proficiency. You got in another band reference, you cheeky bastard. Next up, coming in at just over 11.5 minutes, Identifier. There were plenty of synths on this one, courtesy of Daniel Muller, along with a lot of arpeggios and technical rhythms. Some very tasty lead playing on this song as well. So who did I say there was? We've got Evan Anderson Berry and Wayne Ingram, both of whom play guitar. I'm not sure if one is the lead player, one's the rhythm, or if they both take care of all sides of it, but either way, sounds fucking great. There are a lot of chaotic moments in this song mixed in with the glassy cleans, but it works really well. It's a fantastic mix. There was also some truly excellent riffage that came in at around 7 minutes 30 that put a smile on my face as well. Great stuff. A lot better than 40 minutes without a microphone. I'm over it. I'm over it. Happy to be doing this review a second time. Probably no one will watch it. Next up, we have an interlude piece coming in at 2 minutes 40, Ambition. This is pretty much an atmospheric synth piece. Not quite sure it needed to be 2 minutes 40, but this brings us into the final 4 tracks, which is pretty much one song split up into 4 parts, I'm guessing. Distraction 1, 2, 3, and Distraction Nulla. Distraction 1 starts off with a tender intro before going into something much heavier. I got Faith No More vibes on this one, but I can't quite place why. I don't know if I'm thinking of King for a Day sort of era. I don't know. But that was just something that came into my head. I'd be interested if anyone's heard it and had the same thoughts. There are also moments on this track as well that reminded me very much of Devon Townsend's Terrier album. Towards the back half of this song as well, we get this awesome choral section along with this real symphonic sounding, huge sounding part of the song that was just absolutely fucking wonderful. I do apologise for swearing, but I'm so passionate. Just quickly check the footage there to make sure there was audio on it. I mean, I'm just, I'm over it now at this point. It's fine, there's nothing wrong. This brings us then into Distraction 2, and this one had some subtle use of black metal elements along with the prog and the metal and the folk microphones, am I right, guys? This one had a fantastic combination of huge sounding drums, pumping bass, crunchy guitars, and Evan's outstanding use of clean and guttural growls. There's definitely a Michael Ackerfeld vibe to him on the death growl side of things. Again, I keep making all these comparisons to other bands. I'm not trying to say they sound like them at all. It's just, there's undeniably, it brings to mind a lot of these great albums. That's why I think you'll like them. And that brings us into Distraction 3. This is more of an atmospheric piece, this one. It had a very cinematic quality to it. Great use of synths and strings in this one, and it had a fantastic guitar solo as well. And then finally we have Destruction Nulla, on the regular version at least, with shimmery, spaced out sounding guitars. It reminded me a little of Portishead, before the song explodes into some of the heaviest instrumentation yet. John Tichy does a fucking great job behind the kit on this one. Fantastic close to the album. The regular album, that is. As I have ever so subtly pointed out, there is some bonus tracks available as well that I think is well worth checking out. There's a fantastic cover of Radiohead's Everything in Its Right Place. I was a huge fan, well, still am a huge fan of that song, the original song, and they do a fantastic job of recreating it, putting their own spin on it. It's got some heavy guitars on there as well, but it really works well, just this huge sounding version of it. And there's also a synth mix of the opening track, Exhaler, which adds a lot more atmosphere, a lot more space to the song. And again, well worth checking that one out as well. In terms of a score for this album, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. An absolutely astonishing piece of work from a band I've never heard of before, and I will definitely be going and checking out their back catalogue now because of this. I actually read quite a few reviews of this morning. There's a couple of videos out for it already as well, and pretty much everybody's singing its praises. If this is what we have to look forward to for the year, musically speaking, we're in for a fucking good one. Musically speaking, that is. I mean, pretty much everything else seems to be shit still, but hey ho, we got music. And hopefully microphones at work. So I think that will do for this video. Great start to the year, great start for my reviews, and I guess I'll just have a brief talk about some of the upcoming stuff that I've got for you. I'm going to do a reaction video next. I'm not going to be doing so many of them this year at all, and it's all going to be much more relevant to this channel. Voivod recently released a new single from their upcoming album. Is it Synchro Anarchy, I think it's called, the album. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, so I thought I might as well do a reaction for it. Voivod are always worth checking out. Early next week I will be putting out my video for 20-ish meaningful albums from my teens. This was a really fun video. It's a long one as well, so if you're going to watch it, be prepared for that. But I really enjoyed this one. It was pretty much me going through most of the albums that really meant a lot to me in the early 90s when I was first getting into metal. It was fun. It was really fun to talk about all these old albums and just have an excuse to go through all these classics. After that, I will more than likely have a collection update video. I'm rebuilding my CD collection at the moment, and over this past week I have bought quite a significant amount of CDs. I gave myself a decent budget and I thought, you know what, sod it, I'm just gonna treat myself to some CDs. I don't get much joy out of life. So CDs are the way forward. I've really enjoyed having the physical product to look at again as well. It's just I don't know, there's something about having it on the shelf. Even though I still listen to most of my music digitally, there's something about having it, the physical representation there. It kind of inspires me more to go and listen to it. You know, I can kind of look through it and think, oh yeah, I'll listen to that one today. So yeah, I'll be doing a collection update. That should be a fun one. And what else have I got? And yeah, next week there's quite a lot of albums coming out. How many I'll get to review, I don't know. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to do what I can to get these walking videos done. But I mean, this week has been a nightmare in terms of weather. Today's been really nice, but it's been pissing down all fucking week, which is something that most reviewers never have to sort of think about. No, I don't think any other reviewers have to think about that. So if I have to do them at home, I'll do them at home. I'm going to try keep the reviews coming. Actually, let me just quickly run through what we do actually have coming out over this next week, or at least what I've got on my list. Devils of Luden. I've never heard of this band before, but their album Escaping Eternity comes out on the 11th of January, and a lot of the song titles seem to have a very Bloodborne vibe to them. Next Friday we have Fit for an Autopsy, Shadow of Intent and Enterprise Earth. I haven't heard any of these bands before, so I'm going to spend this week trying to go through their back catalogues and seeing if I can catch up on them, and you know, hopefully be able to get some reviews out. The one review that I will be prioritising will be the Fit for an Autopsy one. A lot of you seem to respond to that one on my upcoming on my most anticipated video, so I think that'll probably be the one I prioritise for next week. But if I can get the other albums reviewed, I will. For today, for now, for this mic fucking bullshit, I'm bitter. I am bitter. I can't deny it. I'm done for today. I shall see you very, very soon with my reaction video for Voivod. Take care. Fucking microphone.